Don't worry, do something naughty. They'll probably just beat you up or hang you. It's fine. Hello, time travellers. We've had a letter, well, an email written to us by Gemma. And Gemma has been asked by her history teacher, a Mr. Mackenzie, to prepare a guide to time travelling in Tudor England. I think we should help and give a few time travelling tips to the teacher, who clearly needs some.
I've noticed your hat. Why are you wearing what seems to be a American propeller hat?
I've been back to 1950s California to search the very origins of skateboarding, when it first appears with surfers putting wheels on little boards and going, hey, I'm practicing for surfing. Minor interest, but I've always wanted one of these hats. It's got a propeller, and if I put it near the camera, can you see that? It's, some hair's caught in it. There's beads, a plastic star on the top, and a small rubber bear. Fantastic. Ooh, so, not relevant to Tudor London or Tudor Britain at all, but it's a nice hat. Gemma's done some research for us. I've had a look on stuff we're teaching people. And Gemma is particularly worried about issues like beheading, hanging, being hanged, drawn and quartered. And she has asked the most important question one can ask in history. Is it hung or hanged?
Hanged.
Meat is hung.
Pictures are hung.
Yes,
people are hanged.
pictures are hung.
Simple as that.
Yes, meat is hung. Men are hanged. If there's one thing we can teach you through all of this, it's remember that. Meat is hung. Men are hanged. What worries me is this seems to be a real concern, and I'm worried that the teacher's concerned about this, because I think if you go back into Tudor times, they're not going to kill you in some weird way. If you do something bad, you're going to go to prison, but prison is just a place to hold you. There are 18 prisons in London. So imagine you do something naughty in London. Yeah. You go, I don't like the king. They're probably just going to beat you up. Apprentices, young men will come out of rooms with sticks and hit you with them. That seems to what generally happens. Somebody will beat you up. Or you're really bad, you steal some stuff. You're going to end up in a prison, and the prison is just where they're waiting to see whether they hang you or not. They're not going to press you. They're not going to put weights on your chest till you confess unless you refuse to say anything. They're not going to hang, draw and quarter you. You're not important enough. You're not. You're not a Catholic priest. You don't have to worry about that. They're not going to behead you. You're not an earl. You're not a count. Don't worry. Do something naughty. They'll probably just beat you up or hang you. It's fine.
Do you know what I'm worried about in Tudor England? Banging my head on stuff. People don't think about wandering around in the evenings. So you've just put to bed the fact that no one's going to kill you with cutting your head off or anything like that. But you are going to have to wander around at night, and no one ever thinks of that one. Banging your head in Tudor London is a big problem, because everybody's seen films and all they ever see is hundreds of these things. Loads and loads and loads and loads of candles everywhere. Because, of course, if you're doing a film, you've got to be able to see. This is a church candle. Am I going to church in Tudor London? No, not till Sunday. I'm going down to a tavern. And I've got to find my way, and you've got to be all prepared for the most pathetic of lighting around the city you can imagine. There are not big flaming torches everywhere. There is not a burning brazier on every street corner. There are a few of these little tiny cresset lamps in niches hanging around, just about making the dim visible. So be very careful, not of losing your head, but banging your head.
Why have you not lit your tiny cresset lamp?
It's full of pig fat and it stinks. That's why.
What about rushlights? Are they any better?
They were once described as darkness made visible. No, they're not much better.
Not only are you not going to lose your head, but again banging your head, doorways being shorter. You go everywhere and they go, people were shorter then, so the doorways were smaller. No, it doesn't really work like that. We've got lots of excavated Tudor remains. We know the height of a lot of people. Some people are shorter. The diet makes people shorter, but not teeny tiny people. The simple thing is, if you're building a wooden doorway, it just seals the cold wind better if it's a bit smaller. It's just the way they are. It's the way they look. It's nothing to do with the size of the people. It's the dimensions, not that way, that way. Tudor clothing's very small, the few surviving bits. That's because they were a bit thinner than us. Lack the
In
prosperity.
fact, if you were to go wandering into one of the palaces and stumble across the most famous Tudor, old Henry VIII, of course, you're going to be a little bit shocked at how tall he is. He's 6'3". I've seen him at a distance, and that's an impressive gentleman.
Yes, and his armour is. You look at his armour that survives in the his royal armour. It's enormous. It's vast, and that's made to fit him. You know, it's not
Massive guy.
A huge suit of armour with a little tiny man inside going, "I can't get out."
Ever mindful of one's Tudor tummy, I'm very worried that people won't be able to sit down to a meal somewhere without embarrassing themselves. So that's what I would teach you. I'd say, don't make a nasty faux pas if invited into someone's house. They say, "Would you like some Tudor lunch?" And you go, "Yes," and then make a dreadful mess. You're never going back, are you? So you need to know a couple of things. I mean, the first thing that anyone knows, and Ed knows this, is they're going to give you a napkin. Probably, if it's a nice house, you know what to do with a napkin, but you're going to go stuffing it in your lap, and that's no good at all. If you're a sensible little Tudor, where does it go, Ed? Where does it go?
It goes over your shoulder.
Over
Or you
your shoulder.
share a runner with everyone. But
Yes,
I mean, that's
I'm
lovely
going
linen.
top
Look at
pot.
that. That's very expensive stuff. You don't want to go rubbing that in your... Oh, no.
No. And that's sat there so I can wipe my little fingers, because I'm eating with my fingers, so I'm wipey, and just chatting away. Never get the shoulder roll and wipe it on your coat. Always make sure you got the right side. And the other one that always confuses people when they're wandering into nice houses or even taverns and so on is they go looking for their plate. They think, "Oh yeah, I'll have some dinner," and someone says, "Help yourself," help yourself to some roast beef, help yourself to some pie, and you'll be looking round for a plate. And of course, the first thing you have to learn about the Tudor world is how tiny it is. This little wooden disc here is a trencher. It's a little trencher. It's never more than about 30 centimetres across. So people think they found a coaster. No, that's the plate. Because the essence is what I've just said. It's a buffet. They're going to say, "Help yourself to your Tudor food." And you use that to take a few things, eat those, take a few more.
But they're in range of where you can reach. So it's not like a eat as much as you can Calvary buffet where you've got a tiny plate and you stuff it as high as you can. That'd be rude. You take little bits, don't you? And
yes, you just sort of, and you might be horribly confused as well, and you mustn't go shouting out, "I didn't think you had those," because there's very likely to be some forks on the table as well. You can ruin a time travel experience by saying they haven't invented them yet, because that can get you into trouble. This one is not an eating fork; it's a serving fork. So
that's allowed. Yeah.
This one is for taking delicate sockets and
Yes.
sweetmeats. Take delicate sockets and sweetmeats from the table and avoid the stickiness on your fingers by using.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
We've established that we don't want to be posh because we don't want to risk Gemma getting hand-drawn and quartered.
Oh,
and so she doesn't want to go anywhere where she's having delicate sweetmeats, because she might do something.
You're right.
No, she's got to avoid execution. She's got to stay poor. You've moved forward in time. Look at that, magically. You're late Tudor now.
I thought I'll go late Tudor then. You were right about, let's get out of all that posh stuff. Let's go down the tavern.
Yeah.
I'm now a late Tudor merchant, and I'm just going to have a beer with my mates. As simple as that. Because that's what I
think that's a good idea. And
I don't want any of these poncy little goblets either. Because
can Gemma safely as a child go into a tavern and have a pint of ale?
No.
Oh.
Pretty much. No.
Right. That's a shame.
They're going to stare at you, aren't they?
Huge part of the experience there.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
Especially as what you want is your late Tudor beer mug. I mean, come on. Who wants a goblet and being posh when you can have one of these? So that's why I'm settling myself down. I've got rid of all the posh napery, all the napkins, and I'm settling myself down with a beer quietly in the corner. That's my Tudor experience.
I think that's the thing about Tudors, isn't it? It's hugely different. It starts off in the 1480s. It's late medieval. And by the time it finishes, it's a very different world because you have different beer mugs and different hats, mainly.
Well.
But the technology's moved on and society's moved on and everything's changed. But the important thing is the hat and the beer mug.
Bye, time travellers. Enjoy Tudor England.
Bye!
Hi, time travellers. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, don't forget to subscribe, like us and share. And we're always looking forward to your comments below. Cheers!